Hi everyone, welcome back. This is a very short, quick live just to show you what you can do with your images once you've downloaded them from wherever you purchased them from, whether that's Etsy, My Porch Prints, or wherever. When you download them, generally they're in an A4 size, usually as a JPEG, but that isn't necessarily the most useful size to a journaler. So what we're going to do today is take single images like these ones. That's a single image that's been downloaded, and that's just printed out on an A4 piece of paper. And there's another one just printed out. But what we'd really like to do is to change that so it becomes the same image more times on a single page. That one there is 4 images that we've put on a single page, 4 individual images, which are now reduced down to, say, A6 size. That one there is the same image reproduced 4 times on a page. That one there is 2 separate images on an A4, which is perfect for journaling, because A4 piece of paper folded in half is a pretty much standard journal size. And of course, if you were to double side print that, you would have the page complete. And that one there is again the same image but done twice. So what we're going to look at is putting the same image multiple times on a page and putting multiple images on a page. We're going to be doing it on the MacBook for the Apple users, and we'll do that first. Bear with me, I'll just enlarge the screen so you can see what's going on. So there we go, that's now a large representation of the MacBook screen that you saw on the desk earlier. That's a very pretty image. That's one of Miss Paintlot's personal paintings using the one brush technique, but that's a side point. Right, so what you need to do first is to locate the images that you've downloaded. On a MacBook, you will find them in Finder, which on my computer is the bottom left. It's like a box with a smiley face on it. If you click on that, it will open up, and on mine by default it goes to recent files, so we'll use those. Normally you may find them in downloads if they're an older download, but in this case the most recent ones we downloaded were fine. Go to the top one, it's called Honeybee Paper 1. You can see there where the cursor's wiggling around, and if we double click on that, it will open up that image in preview. If we now were to go to the file setting and down to the very bottom, it's the print option. You can also do that by pressing Command P. When you do that, it opens up the printing window, and you can see that it's got a single image on the page in the preview, and basically what you see there is what it will print. On our printer we also have the option of A4 borderless, so if you select that option, it removes some of the white around the side, which actually makes it easier to cut out later on. If you haven't got that option, it doesn't matter, it just means you might have to do a bit of trimming afterwards. If we were to want that single image multiple times on a page, the thing to do is, if you got there's a drop down menu in the middle, and by default it goes to preview, so we're on the right page, and down the bottom it has copies per page. If you pull up that drop down menu, you have the option of 1, 2, 4, 6, 9 or 16. If you select number 2, you will see that the preview changes from 1 image on a page to 2. So that's now effectively made them A5, which is, if you were to fold it down the middle, you'd end up with that same image either sides of the fold, which is, as I say, is a perfect size for a standard journal. If you just select number 4, you'll see that it brings up 4 copies on the same page, and that's perfect for making pockets or journaling cards. If we do select, say, 9, you'll see again it puts exactly the same image but 9 times on the same one piece of paper, and that's perfect for embellishments and small, using in small clusters. And again, 16, of course, it gets even smaller. And again, that's perfect. It's exactly the same image 16 times. And obviously, if we were to click on print, then it would print out exactly what we see there. Now, another option, again, is if you go back to the Finder, and instead of using the one image, we were to select 4. See the first 4 there, and double click them when we selected the 4, and this time in the preview it opens all 4 images. By default it goes to the first image there and gives you a preview of that, but what we want to do is print multiple images on the same page. So what we'll do is either hit Command A, which will select all 4, or you can select them individually by holding down the Command key and clicking on the ones that you want. We've selected all 4 there, so again what we'll do this time is go back to the print option, and because it's 4 images, by default it's going to try and put those 4 images on 4 separate pages. What we want to do, of course, is to fit all 4 on the one page. So in this case, again, what you do is click on the drop down menu where it says preview, and this time go to layout, and underneath where it says layout it's got pages per sheet, and if we change that to 4, we'll then find that all 4 images are actually put onto the single sheet. So again, now if we were to print that out, we would get those 4 on a single sheet, which is great. I mean, you got pages per sheet again. If you were to select 6, what you'll find then is you've got the same 4 reduced and then 2 blank spaces because there isn't. If there were 6 images, of course, we would have the 6 on the page. And again, you can go all the way down to 16. So it reduces those 4 images down to the same size as a single one was on 16. Of course, if we went back to the preview and then put copies per page, if we were now to put that up from 1 to 2, you'll find that it's exactly in that small space again. It puts them twice into that same small area. So you can actually reduce them down even smaller by selecting a combination of the 2. We've changed copies to page there to 16, and you can see that in the very tiny portion of the screen it's actually got 16 copies of the same image. So really we're down to sort of postage stamp size there, which is great for embellishments and clusters. So there we go. So just by manipulating the way that we print things, we can get multiple images on a page or the same image multiple times without having to resort to any fancy software or other clever tricks. So there we go. So that's it. That's how you manipulate your images on a Mac. Now we're going to look how we can achieve the same sort of thing on a PC. I'm not the world's most expert on PCs. I haven't used them for about 10 years since I moved over to the Apple operating systems. But we can achieve very much similar effects by putting a single image multiple times or multiple images on a single page. To do that on the PC, again, you open the sort of File Explorer, which is the normal Windows picture of a file. We'll click on that and it opens up the File Explorer. We'll go to Pictures, because that's where I keep the pictures, strangely enough. In this instance, we've got a nice little folder there called Bobby. So we'll click on that, open that up, and there's 4 images in there. We'll select the first one, and there you can see Bobby in the right hand side sitting on the crocheted blankets on the sofa. And if we wanted to print that image out multiple times, we'd right click and get the drop down menu, and about the 6th down is print. We click on print and it opens up the print pictures section, and there he is sitting in the middle. And that's a full page photo. Now if we wanted to put that on more than once, we'd scroll down on the right hand side, and it comes up with an option there of 2. So we'd click on that, and you'd see you'd only get 1 on the left hand side. So actually, to get 2 copies on the same page, you need to select the one that's got either 2 or 4, and then down the bottom it says copies of each picture. And because we've only got the 1 picture, we need to put that up to number 2, and we'll see we'll get side-by-side images. If we were to go to 4, then you see again we've got just 2 copies because that's all we've selected, so you'd have to put it up to 4 down the bottom. So it's slightly more roundabout than Mac, but it is still achievable. And again, you can go down to Wallet, which is 9, and a context sheet, which is 35. And select the context sheet, which is 35 images. We need to change the number of copies to 35 to match it, and then we'd get 35 copies of Bobby on a single sheet of paper. And again, what you see is what you get. So if you'd print that out, you'd get 35 copies of Bobby in about stamp size. So we'll cancel that. If we wanted multiple images on the same page, what we would do is select all 4, which in Windows is hold the shift down and click on the last one, and it selects all 4. And then if we right click that again, go back to print, then again you'll see that it wants to put 4 images on 4 pages. Well, we don't want that necessarily, so we'll scroll down on the right hand side till we get the contact sheet that has 4 pictures on it. And if we click on that, because we've now got 4 images, it puts all 4 on the 1 page. The beauty of this one is now if we change the copies of each picture down the bottom from 1 to 2, it goes back and puts them 2 copies of each image on 1 page and then 2 on the next page. If we were to put that back down to 1, we'd get all 4 on the 1 page. And then if we go down to, say, the Wallet, which is 9, again, because we've only got the 4 images, it'll put each one on and then leave effectively 5 empty spaces. Now if we put the copies of the picture up to 2, you'll find that we'll have the same image twice, and all 4 would give us 8, and we'd have 1 empty space. And again, on contact 1, you'd achieve the same, and you could put the number of copies up each time and work out how many 4s are in 35, which I think is 8, with 1 is 3 spare. So if we were to put that on 8, we'd find that would nearly fill the page, but there would be a few empty spaces. So that's how you can get multiple images on 1 page and 1 image multiple times on a page on Windows. This is the latest version of Windows. This is Windows 10. Yours may vary slightly, but it should be a very similar process. I hope that's helpful to some beginners to help you get started with your papers, because when they're all A4, you can think, well, what am I going to do with that because it's A4? But there's no need to stick with A4, and there's no need to have any fancy software to manipulate it. It's all possible within the operating system. That's it for now. Join me again next time when we'll perhaps look at doing some basic photo manipulation in Word. Again, you don't need to do anything fancy like Photoshop. You can do most things that you'd need to do for journaling within Word, and we'll make that the next video. So join me if you can. Thanks. Bye.